everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another Spooky Sunday video. So in today's video we are going to be taking a deep dive into Ghost Adventures. This video has been a long time coming, so I'm really excited. But first, what is Ghost Adventures? Ghost Adventures is a paranormal investigation show. It first premiered on the Travel Channel on October 17th, 2008. Love that, super spooky. The only other perfect date for that probably would have been Halloween, but October, the ghosts. Great month to choose for a show to premiere for its first episode. The investigators or presenters, whichever word you want to use, were Zach Bagans, Aaron Goodwin, Nick Groff, Jay Walsley, and Billy Tolley. And they would investigate locations that were supposedly haunted. Some of those locations include Bobby Mackey's Music World, Route 666, the Island of the Dolls, and so many more. I think there was about 300 episodes altogether, maybe more. So they visited a lot of haunted places. They would go into these locations to try and determine whether the place was actually haunted and to try and capture the most insane paranormal audio and footage they possibly could. And I actually loved this show as a teenager. I remember watching it and being super excited about it. I think it was the first time that I fully remember being interested in paranormal and spooky things, and I still feel really nostalgic about it whenever I watch it, whenever I talk about it, whenever I watch any other deep dives. The nostalgia is real. And regardless of the scandals that we're going to talk about today, I still can't help but love the TV show. But talking about scandals, let's get into the first one. So I'm just going to add a little disclaimer on the screen right now and I will read it out for you. I would like to say that this is all alleged unless I can provide solid evidence. I don't want to get sued, so take it all with a pinch of salt. This is all information I have found from different interviews, news reports, or other YouTube videos, and it is for entertainment only. Okay, let's get into the first segment, shall we? Of course, we have to start with Zach Bagans. So Zach Bagans, I would say, was probably the main investigator. A lot of people will know Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, and there is a lot of controversy surrounding Zach Bagans. Zach was born April 5th, 1977. So he is an Aries, and I only know this because my dad was also born on April 5th. Not the same year, but he was born in April 5th, and he is also an Aries. So Zach Bagans was a fire sign, or is a fire sign. He's still alive. Zach Bagans is a fire sign. He was born in Washington, D.C., and then he was raised in Illinois. In 2004, he teamed up with Nick Groff and Aaron Goodwin, and they created the show that we all know as Ghost Adventures. It first aired in 2007 on the Sci-Fi Channel, but it really took off when it first aired, like I said, in 2008 on the Travel Channel. So, what did Zach do? Let's start with the Haunted Museum. On April 2nd, 2016, a show premiered on the Travel Channel, and this show was called Deadly Possessions. The show was basically about Zach trying to find haunted artifacts for his museum, and this museum later opened in Las Vegas in October 2017. It consisted of 33 different rooms, and these rooms were full of different artifacts on display for the public to see. One of those artifacts being the Dybbuk box, and if you have watched one of my other videos, you will know that the Dybbuk box was all false. The original owner of the Dybbuk box, the guy that created the entire story, actually came out and said that he made the whole thing up and that he would pay somebody a load of money and tattoo their name on his forehead if they could prove otherwise, and that he even made up the name Dybbuk box, that Dybbuk boxes just did not exist until he made up this whole story. So Zach having the Dybbuk box in his museum and claiming it's haunted and stuff like that is a little bit sketchy, seeming as the person that literally made up the whole thing said that it's not true. So one of the reasons that Zach's museum is controversial is because he apparently stole the idea. And who did he steal it off, you may ask? None other than Ed and Lorraine's nephew. Ed and Lorraine Warren, that is. According to a now deleted TikToker called Haunted Heights, he knew Zach before he was famous. He said that the fame and the money changed Zach's behavior, and he also claimed that Zach stole the idea of the museum from John Zaffis, who, like I said, is Ed and Lorraine Warren's nephew. He went on to explain that John had created a haunted museum with artifacts that he had gathered through all of his years of ghost haunting. Ghost haunting? Is John a ghost? John's ghost hunting. However, John's museum was actually private and no one went there at all. It is also said that Ed, John and Lorraine were the first people to ever make haunted museums, and then obviously Zach followed. And according to this TikToker, Zach had asked John if he could just go and have a look at the museum, but then Zach turned up with a whole camera crew and took pictures of all of the artifacts to try and use for inspiration for his own museum, allegedly. And the final thing this TikToker claimed was that Zach actually just rents a lot of the items in his museum. He doesn't actually own any of them. He just rents them from the people that already do own them and then puts them in his museum. But it is important at this part of the video to just say that this is all alleged. I couldn't find any damning concrete evidence. This is all he said, and I guess just the word of mouth from this TikToker. But I thought it was interesting to mention, so that's what I know about the museum. We're going to move on from Zach, but there is so many more things we're going to talk about with Zach throughout this video. So Zach's controversies don't end there. They're just a little bit later on in the video. Let's move on to Nick Groff. Nick Groff was one of the original creators of the show, along with Zach and Aaron. He later left the show in 2014, which was 10 years after the show started. He was born April 19th in 1980, and he was born in San Jose in California, but he was raised in New England. He claims to have been fascinated with the paranormal ever since he was a young child. He said that this was due to his love of horror films and also unexplainable occurrences from his childhood. As I said before, Nick left the show in 2014, and there was a whole bunch of reasons why he apparently left the show, so we're going to look into a few of them now. If you were to ask Nick why he left the show, he would say that he left the show because the host was hostile and hard to work with. And a lot of people infer that this host that Nick is talking about is Zach, but Nick never actually comes out and says Zach, so it's just important to note that. He also said that a breaking point was when they kept leaving him out of shows and ghosting him, pun intended. But they basically did this to the point where he decided to leave. I will now insert a clip of Nick explaining this a little bit for you guys to watch.
I never had an NDA. I was not fired from Ghost Adventures. I never did, quote, a bad thing. I never cheated in a relationship that I was in. I was misled with the ongoing paranormal lockdown. I kept my head up for 9 years. I pushed forward. I kept trying to move on, creating new hit shows, but the previous hosts that I used to work with keep trying to stop my career. So this is my story. This is from my perspective, and now I have to talk about it.
Okay, Rachel asked, this may be controversial, I know, but what was it like working on the GA team after the documentary and Fame hit? Just wondering if rumors are true about you-know-whose ego from experience. I questioned him once about how he treats his team and was blocked instantly.
In my opinion, this rumor is true. I witnessed it firsthand, and I saw him treat people just as poorly. This host was terrible to work with. It was an extremely hostile environment to work in, and also Dakota can speak on his experience with him too.
All right, this is from Glenda from Texas. Aaron has already explained why you were fired. You went behind Zach's back, started a new show without discussing anything with him. Trying to destroy him at this late date will do you no good, except she spelled no wrong.
I did not get fired. That is false. I did not go behind anyone's back. My contract allowed me to produce other shows, just like the other host who I was working with, who produced several other shows. This is simply jealousy, nothing to do with legalities.
There's a ton of questions wanting to know exactly why you left Ghost Adventures.
In my opinion, based on what I was told, a certain individual that I worked with called up the network and said he would not show up at the next location if I showed up. I was dragged along for 2 months, and I kept being told, we don't need you at this next location. Then another week would go by, we don't need you at that location. Got to the point where I was dragged along for so long that my lawyer finally stepped in. He gave me a choice. I could either move on and make something better, create something new, or just be a sitting duck and just wait. So I chose to move on and create Paranormal Lockdown.
Okay, so apparently he was also told that Zach gave the Travel Channel an ultimatum and said that they basically had to choose whether they wanted to work with Zach or wanted to work with Nick, and they chose Zach, allegedly. He also said that Zach then went and bragged that Nick would never work again, and again I will insert a clip of Nick saying this for you guys to watch.
There were multiple questions regarding whether or not you believe that you have been limited or blocked from appearing on Travel Channel.
In my opinion, I do believe I was blocked from the network and continuing my shows specifically because of one host who I used to work with. And the reason I know this is because several executives I spoke to at the network said I can't come to that network as long as he's there. And also, years later, speaking to Dakota, who finally spoke out about it and confirmed it for me, that yes, when he was filming with this one host at a location, this host came into the room bragging, laughing, saying, ha ha ha, Nick's never going to work in America again because I gave the network an ultimatum to choose him or me. So now having that confirmation, this is the reason I'm speaking out today about it, because finally someone has the guts to talk about it publicly.
But if you were to ask the Ghost Adventures crew why Nick left, they would say that Nick went behind their back to create a brand new ghost show. And this ghost show was called Ghost Stalkers in 2014, and then Paranormal Lockdown from 2016 to 2019. They claim to have removed him from the show because of this. Okay, let's move on to Aaron Goodwin. Aaron Goodwin was born in Portland, Oregon on April 1st, 1976. Another Aries. Again, I only know this because my mom was born April 1st. Not the same year, but April 1st. How insane. Like, both of my parents' birthdays are in this video. 2 Aries as well, 2 fire signs. He was a equipment technician, a camera operator, and a co-investigator in Ghost Adventures. When Zach and Nick needed a cameraman for Ghost Adventures, they met and hired Aaron in Las Vegas, and they wanted him to help them film in the B-roll and to help film the investigations. Prior to working for Ghost Adventures, Aaron actually did filming for the UFC, so he has pretty good experience as a cameraman. And in the show, Aaron was regularly used as bait to draw out the spirits and the ghosts. Aaron was apparently removed from the show because he had said that the show was fake. And one Redditor says this is the story, and I'm just going to read the quote for you guys, but it says, quote, Aaron revealed in a podcast that the show was misleading viewers because if their investigation did not yield results that were exciting enough to please the producers, they were forced to go back to the location and act out the scenarios that didn't actually happen. Also, some of the EVPs had their own voices recorded and altered to make it appear that the evidence was more compelling. end quote. The showrunners deny this ever happened and subsequently fired him for this. We are going to move on to Dakota Landon next, which is quite a big part of this video, so let's get into that information. Dakota, who was 18 at the time, was part of the Ghost Adventures mashup competition in 2011. This competition was used as a build-up to the season 5 premiere of Ghost Adventures. The winner would then be featured on a Ghost Adventures lockdown episode with all of the team. The winner was revealed through the Travel Channel's website page as well as the Ghost Adventures Facebook. Dakota and his father Rob were then featured on the Charleston jail episode. Although Dakota was not seen as a real investigator, he did join the show in 2017 and he joined the show as a camera operator. A little later after this, Dakota then left the show and decided to make his own show called Destination Fear. In Destination Fear, Dakota is the lead investigator and it did 4 seasons. However, there seemed to be a lot of controversy surrounding the filming of season 5. Dakota started posting tweets saying that if he could not bring season 5 to TV, he would bring it to YouTube for everybody, because Destination Fear was actually a pretty popular ghost show and Zach was actually the executive producer of Destination Fear. And because of Dakota's tweets about how he maybe couldn't get it on TV, he would bring it to YouTube and things like that, and people knowing that Zach was the executive producer, they were confused and they were wondering why Zach wasn't helping out or saying anything. A lot of other famous paranormal investigators came out to show their support to Dakota. One of those investigators being Nick Groff, who, like I said, was an original member of the Ghost Adventures crew. Dakota was basically very annoyed at Zach because Zach is the executive producer and he's not coming out and helping, and Zach is a big influence in that world, and if Zach had said to the Travel Channel, hey, do this show, maybe he would have had a chance at helping Dakota. There were alleged rumors going around that basically Zach wasn't getting involved because he didn't want to share the spotlight with anyone else. Destination Fear was doing too well, and obviously his priority is Ghost Adventures, and that is why he didn't come out and help. Again, like I said, these are rumors, these are not straight up facts, so take that as you will. So because of all this drama happening with Dakota, it then opened doors for other people to come out and tell their stories about Zach. One of those people being Nick Groff and the video that we watched earlier. I definitely recommend going to watch the full video of Nick if you can, because he goes into so many more details that I haven't been able to go to in this video. But basically, Dakota's show didn't get renewed. I think he ended up taking it to YouTube, and the rumors, the drama, I suppose, around that is that Zach didn't help, and so they fell out over that, and it made other people come out about their stories about Zach. Okay, the next scandal we're going to move on to is apparent staged investigations. The show has been accused of staging paranormal investigations over the years. The first one I will mention is an apparent staged Halloween live stream, and this live stream involved none other than the Dybbuk box. People watched the show and they apparently saw a witch, but people were saying that the witch was an actor, not actually a ghost, but they were playing it off as it was a real ghost. I've tried everywhere to try and find this footage. I cannot find it anywhere for the life of me. If you have a link to it or anything, please comment in the comments down below. That is basically one of the first things that was apparently staged. Then moving on to the Dybbuk box and their expert witness. Apparently their expert witness had no idea what they were on about, and he claimed what they were saying would not work in Zach's script. Those words left their expert witness's mouth. And also, please let me reiterate that I made a video where the owner of the Dybbuk box story and the original Dybbuk box said that the whole thing was made up. So I have a clip of this expert witness that I'm going to insert for you guys to watch. So let's roll the tape.
Can I ask you a question, Rabbi? Yes. Are you familiar with the Dybbuk or Dybbuk box? I read up on it today because of the Dybbuk box. I read about it. Okay. Are there demonic possessions in
not that much. I don't believe that they really could have, that they could take control of you, that I would be concerned about.
All right.
So it may not be good in your script, but that's my personal belief.
Okay, let's go over here.
They were also accused of faking other paranormal evidence, such as fake possessions. This is because there was no evidence of the possessions, and apparently there would be evidence if there was a real possession taking place. Obviously, I'm not an expert of this, so I can't say hand on heart that they're fake, but according to other people that claim to know more about possessions than I do, apparently they were fake. And like I said earlier, Aaron Goodwin said that a lot of it was fake and that they were forced to go back to locations to refilm things again if they weren't to the producer's liking, and also their own audio was manipulated to sound like ghost voices. So that's probably one of the biggest allegations, I would say, is that someone that was literally part of the show from the beginning is saying that it's fake. So that's all the controversies that I have for you today. So let's move on to some more light-hearted content in terms of Ghost Adventures, shall we? And let's move on to some funny moments. So the first one that we're going to watch is when Zach was scared of hanging wires and he literally called them giant tentacles. I think his literal words were giant tentacles of a squid. Like, it was so poetic over nothing. Let me insert the clip and let you see what I'm on about.
I have just experienced something terrifying on the second floor of the No Penning Sanatorium. I immediately head down to Nerve Center.
So did you see if I got hung up on anything?
Upon further review, as I back up in this hallway in pitch black darkness, I do not see these wires hanging from the ceiling, and as they begin wrapping around me like the tentacles of a giant squid and pulling on me, I panic, taking my eyes off of my night vision camera, thinking an unseen force is doing this to me, but video analysis clearly debunks that this is not paranormal.
This one is probably one of my most favorite Ghost Adventures clips, and this is the sassy ghost. Argue with me in the comments if you want to, but this is the best Ghost Adventures clip to ever exist. I love it so much. Let me show you.
Are you a male or a female spirit? Once for a male, twice for a female. Stop it. Stop. Stop. Wait till I ask a question. Are you evil? Once for yes, two for no.
Then this one was just so out of pocket. I've got on my notes, Jay passing gas. So let's watch it. I think I can remember what this is about. I think there was some evidence and they were like, it could just be Jay passing gas. It was something like that. Let me show you.
Moments later, Jay captures what we think is an unexplained growl. But we can't be certain, as this could also be just Jay passing gas, to which he does not recollect.
Okay, the last funny moments clip that I have for you is the cheeky ghost. It's kind of similar to the sassy ghost, but I guess more cheeky. I think sassy and cheeky are two different things in my brain. Let me know what you think, but here's the clip.
What state do you live in? What state are we in right now? Was this spirit being a smartass? We were clearly now in the presence of a different entity than before. How many of us are standing here right now?
Okay, we are now going to finish off the video with my conclusion and my thoughts on the whole situation. So, what are my thoughts? Well, I have many. First of all, I just want to again say that everything I've presented in this video is speculation, hearsay, and opinion. It's information that I found from news reports, other YouTube videos, or interviews, and even Reddit. I cannot say whether it's factual or not. All I can do is present my findings, my own opinions, and allow us all to make our own conclusions and opinions together along the way. So that out of the way, here are my thoughts. I feel like I learned so much about Ghost Adventures that I never knew. You know, as a teenage kid, I watched this show, I love this show, it's nostalgic to me, and I enjoyed it with a teenage mind. I remember thinking that it was all real, but as an adult, I feel like I can watch it and be like, that's probably not real, especially all the things that I know after going into deep dives of ghost TV shows. I did a video on Most Haunted if you haven't watched that one already. But yeah, I feel like when you watch it as an adult, it's with a different mind. The way Zach may have allegedly treated other people, if it is true, is despicable. If he is the person that preys on his friends' downfalls just so he can hang on to the top spot, kicks them off the show for having an opinion or dreams of their own, then he is an awful person and we can't deny that. Again, we have to say if it's all true because we have to say alleged because again, none of this has been proven, and to save my own arse, I have to say that. But like I said before, I think when you go into watching a ghost hunting TV show, you kind of have to understand that things are probably going to be faked for entertainment purposes. Like I said before, I can watch a lot of it and with my adult brain be like, oh yeah, this is probably, you know, staged or whatnot. And I watch it with the idea that this is entertainment, this is entertaining, rather than this is evidence. In the past, I've watched the TV show and been like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Like, that's insane. And I do believe that there's something else. I don't think that we're the only people in the whole world. I feel like it's other universes, there's other life out there. Why can't there be ghosts, you know? But I think with watching Ghost Adventures and Most Haunted and things, you kind of go into it knowing it's an entertainment show. They're going to do things to make the show seem better, I suppose. There have been so many funny moments like we watched earlier. And like I said before, the sassy ghost is my favorite clip of all time. But I do think I will always have a soft spot for the show. And I think it's because I watched it as a teenager. We all have soft spots for certain shows that we watched when we were younger or as teenagers. And I think I'll always have that nostalgic feeling with Ghost Adventures. The drama is simple though. It is Zach allegedly getting mad because other people want more for themselves and he allegedly wants to stay on top. He will have lost friends in this process as well as respect from other fans and other investigators. However, it seems that the Travel Channel love Zach too much in their rumoured actions and decisions where they have constantly supported him and not other members. So will Ghost Adventures ever be Ghost Adventures without Zach? I don't think so. However, I do feel for those wronged by Zach in their experiences with him, and which was said in their own words in interviews and tweets, because how do you get justice from someone that's stuck on top? I think that's something that we all need to think about. But that kind of concludes my thoughts and opinions, and this also concludes the Ghost Adventures video. I know it's been a long time in the making. These videos take so long to script, you guys, so thank you for being so patient with me. I started my Walking Dead series. That did really well. Thank you so much for the love and support on the Walking Dead videos. Like I said, if you you like more ghosty content, I have got a video on Most Haunted. I will add it in the cards and I'll put it in the description in case you want to go and watch it. It's really, really good. And I am currently working on the BuzzFeed Unsolved video. I'm not sure when that's going to come because, like I said, these videos take a long time to do, but there will be spooky, scary videos every week still. So make sure you subscribe, stick around to watch me react to scary stuff, read scary stories, and do deep dives like this. But yeah, I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.